Hi, my name is Amanda Thomas. If you're following me here from TikTok, thank you so much. The community that we've built over there has been such a blessing in my life, and I'm so very thankful for each and every one of you. TikTok refuses to give me that 10-minute option for my videos, so I decided to hop over to YouTube so we can get into a little bit more details on some of these cases that we've talked about. 3 minutes means that there's a lot of information being left out, and so that's my point, is to try to stop doing that on at least some of the cases. I can't post every day on YouTube because I have a full-time job and it would just be a lot. I could not do that. But I am starting with one a day. I post every Tuesday at 9 a.m. So if you're interested and want to follow along, go ahead and click the little subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload, but only if you're interested, no pressure. But like I said, if you're following me here from TikTok, thank you so much and welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, hi, thanks for coming back. And I do want to give a little warning, the things that we discuss here are pretty heavy sometimes, and so if that's something your mental health cannot handle, go ahead and click off this video. I would much rather you protect your mental health than watch my video, so yeah, we'll catch you somewhere else. Today we're going to talk about Teresita Basa. Teresita was born in the Philippines. She was born and raised there, and she was the only child of a very wealthy couple, and she graduated from college in the Philippines, and she was a very talented musician. Her goal was to come to the United States to further her music education, and so that's exactly what she was trying to do. Teresita was happy. She did work as a respiratory therapist in a local hospital, and that was her main source of income, and all of her coworkers really loved her. They said that she was just one of the kindest people they had ever met, and she was just thriving in life. Teresita was a very low-risk victim, meaning there wasn't many habits in her life that would lead her to being a victim. But that didn't stop this thing from happening. On February 21st of 1977, Teresita's friend Ruth Loeb called her on the phone, and they spoke for about 30 minutes. During this phone call, Teresita did let Ruth know that a friend was coming over and that she was expecting someone to her house, but she didn't go into any detail about who it might be and what they were doing there, nothing like that. She just said in passing that a friend was coming over, and Ruth thought nothing more of this. They spoke for around 30 minutes before hanging up the phone, and within an hour of that phone call, the fire department was called by Teresita's neighbors. They smelled smoke and called the fire department, and after the fire was contained, they did find Teresita's body. She was under a mattress. She also had a knife protruding from her chest. Police did think that this fire was set intentionally to destroy any evidence that there might be. But after an autopsy, they did find that Teresita had been completely disrobed, and so they thought maybe this was a SA attack and that led to murder. But after an autopsy, they realized that there had been no SA and that this was not a sexually motivated crime. But there still were very few leads in the case, and police didn't know where to start. So they did look at Ruth's apartment, and they could tell that it had been completely destroyed. So they did think that maybe it was a robbery that had happened, and they looked into that, and police would follow every single lead that they got. Teresita lived alone, so they did not know if anything was missing from the apartment. At least they couldn't find if anything was missing from the apartment. But with the house being destroyed, they could not dismiss that this could have in fact been a robbery, and so they kind of went with that lead. Investigators did find a note in Teresita's apartment that said, "Get movie theater tickets for AS," but they didn't know who AS was. So they put a lot of time and energy into figuring out who this person was. But Teresita had absolutely no known enemies. She was so kind, and people just really loved her. So it was really hard to try to narrow down who this might possibly be. They interviewed everyone that Teresita might have known, and all of them came back saying that Teresita was kind and quiet, and she just really had no enemies. All of her patients loved her, her coworkers loved her. She was just a very reliable person, and everyone just had nothing bad to say about Teresita whatsoever. And over the next several months, the case would just eventually go cold because there were just no leads. The fire had destroyed any physical evidence that they might have been able to find, and so this just left investigators stranded. Joe Stachula, and I'm really sorry if I said that wrong, was the lead investigator on Teresita's case. He was really wanting to solve the case, so when he came to work one July morning in 1977, he had a note on his desk saying to call another police department. The note said that they wanted to discuss Teresita's case. Intrigued, he called them back, and what they had to say was wild, and this is where this case takes an absolute just wild turn. The detective that called him said that a Dr. Jose Chua had called him with a very strange tale. So the detective Joe made an appointment with Dr. Jose. He wanted to see what he had to say. Now, Jose claimed that his wife Remy was having visions of Teresita, and Teresita was coming to his wife in dreams saying that my killer has gone free, please help me find him. Now, obviously, this is extremely strange and very difficult to believe for any investigator. Most of their investigations are rooted in science and those kinds of things, and I'm not saying that, visions and those kinds of things can't happen. Your own belief is your own belief, but this is not a typical way to investigate a crime like this. But the doctor claimed that Remy would have these visions at night, and Teresita would come to Remy in these dreams saying that my killer has gone free, you need to help me find him. And one evening, Remy was taking a nap on the couch, and she started talking, and Dr. Jose started speaking to her and kind of questioning her. And she said, please, my killer is gone free. I need you to help me find him. And when he asked, who am I talking to? She said, Teresita Basa. It seemed that Remy was channeling Teresita's spirit and speaking to Jose. She also told Jose that she was afraid that her murder would go unsolved, and she did not want that to happen. During these visions that Remy was having, Teresita revealed the name of Alan Showery. She said that Alan was responsible for her death, and Remy was trying to convince Jose to go to police with this information, but Jose was very hesitant because he had no physical evidence to tie Alan to the crime. That's when Teresita came to Remy again in a vision and said that Alan had stolen some of her jewelry and given it to his girlfriend. Now, this was some solid evidence that they could take to police, and this is when Jose went to police and decided to share this information. Now, Alan Showery was another respiratory therapist that worked with Teresita, but Detective Joe was just not convinced. Like I said, this is not a normal investigation tactic, and this is a pretty strange thing to do, but finally he decided to look into Alan Showery. And what he found was strange. He found that Alan lived very close to Teresita, and coworkers said that Alan had planned on going to Teresita's house that night to help her fix her television. When questioned, Alan did say that he had gone to Teresita's home that night to fix her TV, but he did not have the tools he needed to be able to complete the job, so he left. And that's what he stuck with. But police decided to keep prodding and keep pushing, and they actually talked to Alan's girlfriend and asked her, hey, has Alan given you any jewelry recently? And she said he, in fact, had. Police asked Alan's girlfriend if she would allow some of Remy's friends and family to examine the jewelry to see if it was Teresita's. She agreed to this, and they all confirmed that this jewelry was Teresita's. She had worn it in the past, and they knew it was hers. So this did not look good for Alan at all. Police took this evidence to Alan, and initially he confessed. He said that he had in fact gone to Teresita's house that night to fix the TV. But like he had said, he didn't have the tools there to fix the TV, and so he decided to go home and get them. But when he came back, he had decided that he was going to rob Teresita. So when she was turning around to lock the door, he attacked her. He completely disrobed her to make it look like it was an essay, and that would lead police in that direction, but he did not essay her at all. He was just there to rob her. He overpowered Teresita and then stabbed her and put the mattress over her body and then robbed her. Alan also said that he had started the fire to cover up any evidence that he might have left, which worked for a very long time. But despite confessing, Alan, when charged, decided to plead not guilty. He tried to get the evidence thrown out, saying that the evidence came from the supernatural and that it shouldn't be allowed in court. They did go ahead and proceed with trial, but there was a mistrial. And after this mistrial, Alan actually decided to plead guilty to the crimes, and he was only sentenced to 14 years on February 23rd of 1979. Alan was released on parole in 1983. I know this is kind of a strange case, and I would actually love to know your thoughts on this. Do you think that this is legit? Do you think that Remy was having visions? Do you think that Teresita came back from the grave to help solve her crime? I am a very big believer in the supernatural and all things spiritual and those types of things. I do think it's very possible that Teresita did not want her murder to go unsolved, and I think she might have been afraid that somebody else would become a victim of Alan. But I would love to know your thoughts on this. Please leave them down below in the comments so that we can have a conversation about them. If this is something you don't believe in, I'd also like to hear about that. I would love to know your thoughts on all of this. I think Teresita came back from the grave to help solve her crime because she just seemed like that kind of person, that she would care enough to not want this to happen to anybody else. But like I said, leave your thoughts in the comments. Tell me what you think, and that's it for today. Thank you so much for spending some time with me. Again, if you're interested and you like what I'm doing here, go ahead, feel free to subscribe and hit the little notification bell. I'd love to have you join our little community. It's been so much I don't want to say fun because we talk about really bad things, but the community that we've built has been so respectful and so kind about all of these cases, and I really feel like people are here to help spread awareness about a lot of these things. And that's the goal here, is to spread awareness and give a voice to those people who do not have the voice anymore. I think it's so very important to discuss these things so that we can prevent them from happening again. And so if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to subscribe. Other than that, I'll see you again next Tuesday for another YouTube video, and I hope you all are so safe and so happy, and I'm wishing you just peace and love.